everyone, welcome to the new session getting started with machine learning. Please let me know I am audible or not. If I am audible, then please put a yes comment to the live chat for that we can start the session. In the meanwhile, let me introduce that Great Learning has launched Great Learning Academy. There are lots of things I just want to show you about this particular website. Let me reveal one by one and I will give you a walkthrough about this website as well. So if you write Great Learning Academy in the Google, then you will get the first link. If you just click on this particular link, what you will get, you will land up to the Great Learning page. Now I will show you what are the things you will get in this particular website, right? So basically Great Learning has came up with the idea of this particular website where you will get lots of courses and for this particular domains. If you come and look into these domains, you can see the data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, IT and software, cloud computing, marketing, finance and lot more trending domain, you will get these courses. If you click on this particular domain, you can see what are the courses you have for these particular domains. Now you will ask me what are the benefits you will actually get after doing these courses. These courses are free of cost, the main catch you can see, and these courses are designed by the prestigious university and the faculty. And if you enroll for these courses, you will get a free of cost material and as well as free of cost materials and as well as the video content. And lastly, you will get a certificate for these particular courses. Now you will ask me where actually I can use the certificates. These certificates you can use in your resume, in your LinkedIn profile. That will always upskill your knowledge as well, right? And the main thing about this particular part is if you are comfortable in Hindi, we do have lots of courses in Hindi as well. As our today's session is about machine learning, and if you want to look into what are the machine learning courses we have, so if you just write over here machine learning right, so you can see we have Python for machine learning in Hindi. If you are comfortable in Hindi, then you can do this. We have Python for machine learning in English and lots of basic of machine learning, data visualization using Python, right? There are lots of courses you will get that's for free of cost, right? And if you actually enroll for these courses, you will actually get an update about what are the new courses we are going to add to this particular website. I think it will actually help you to skill up yourself free of cost and also start your career in machine learning, right? Isn't it interesting? So please if you want to again go for if you again go for enrolling for these courses, you should get lots of knowledge that guarantee we can give, right? So this is all about Great Learning Academy. Now if we just go back to the session, let's have a look at what are the agenda we have, right? So I can see I am audible. So in this case, let me show you what are the agenda we have today. So today we have, first we are going to talk about why do we need machine learning. Then we will have a look into what is machine learning, right? And then we will jump into life cycle to build a model with machine learning. So we will talk about the agenda as well, but I want to understand that how many of you have idea about machine learning, right? And guys, don't forget to subscribe Great Learning. If you subscribe Great Learning, you will get updated with the new content we are going to post and we are going to work with. And in this case, if you have any idea and any new suggestion for us to work on, we will surely work on those things as well, right? Hi guys, everyone, thanks for joining for today's session. And yeah, so then we will talk about the life cycle of building a machine learning model. Then we will see why Python is so popular. We will have a look into that as well, right? Then we will see into how can you install Python. What is the way you can install Python to your system and you can start your journey with Python as well, right? Okay, now we will see the statistical visualization of Python, like how many users are currently using Python, right? And then we will look into the few things about Python. I will help you out what the library we use for Python. Then we will look into Numpy and pandas, the most used library for Python, and I will give you the example that why do we need it, right? Then we will see this important statistics concepts, and lastly we will do a diabetes prediction using Python, right, and using machine learning as well. So it's a very basic and not even a basic, very interesting project itself, to learning of machine learning from start learning machine learning to how can you make a model out of it, right? So I hope this is enough to start with machine learning. So let's get start with why do we need machine learning. So the first question comes into our mind, why machine learning becoming more popular these days, right? So yeah, I will give you the example why machine learning becoming more popular these days, right? Before that, some of you actually gave okay, hi, completely new. That's totally fine, Priya, if you are completely new. What type of machine learning is there in mobile phone? I think Biplab, you just need to understand what is machine learning, then this answer will be cleared for your side, right? Okay. Rivati is saying no idea at all. That's not a problem if you don't have idea. Right, so I did not get lots of inputs from you guys, so I really want to understand that how many of you have actually heard this term machine learning. If you never heard this term, that's also fine, then you are going to really learn a very interesting topic, right? And guys, please don't forget to like this particular video, because if you really like this video, it will always keep us motivated to make new content like this and always help you with your doubts, right? So please don't forget to like the video as well. And Google Assistants, Abdul, partially right, not properly. Okay, so now let's have a look at why do we need machine learning. So when we talk about the past time, when we are not okay, so I will answer your questions, guys, but before that I just want to complete one slide and then I will answer your questions, right? So in this case, you can say in past what we used to have. If we just have a compare between the past days, we have the today's our lifestyle. So basically this machine learning comes because of our lifestyle. Now our lifestyle change, right? Now as what we do, suppose we just need to order a food, or we just need to go for shopping. We are too lazy to go for a outlet and go for ordering food or doing the shopping, right? If you are a professional, if you are a student, and you will get lots of variety of offer if you go for online transaction, online orders, right? So we always prefer to go for online. But did you ever think why we get more discount if we go for online? Any of you, did you ever see what's the reason behind it? If I go for an outlet, I will not get that much discount, but if we go for a online shopping, we will obviously get more discount than that. I will give you the reason why. Obviously, when you go for outlet, you will actually making the data for the companies, but when you making it online, basically what's happening, they will give you lots of recommendation. How they are giving you the recommendation based on your choice. They don't know you, they never talk to you. How actually they do that? Yes, that's where the machine learning comes into the picture. And what it does, it takes your data, it takes your past order, what you have done. After taking your data, what it will do an analyzation on your data, right? When it does the analyzation, it come up with the recommendation. When it comes up with a recommendation, what it does, it said maybe this person like this thing, or this person like this food, or this person maybe wants to go for the western dress, right? These are the recommendation is done by machine learning. Now comes the data. As we have the data, those data basically used to give a proper business insights. How they are going to give you the proper business insights? They are going to give you the proper business insight using your data itself. It will try to analyze you as a person. It will try to analyze your choice as a person, and they will try to cluster same type of a people and try to get more recommendation from others as well. Isn't it interesting, right? Yes, it's one of the most interesting part of machine learning, and this is why we need machine learning to actually make our business more insightful, to make our business more successful, and also make the customers happy using this machine learning. You never know, they are actually in the back end, they're using a algorithm to make you happy, right? What actually make you happy? Yes, they are doing something which is actually giving you, you just need to put less effort and you can make whatever you need, right? This is how machine learning works. And these insights basically helping the organization, and also these insights are giving this organization a proper selling, what will be your future sales, what can be your future sales, right? For that the company have an idea, okay, in the upcoming days maybe I will have a profit of this, right? That's not correct, but yeah, there is an assumption they will get using machine learning, right? Which comes for time forecasting as well. We will talk about that later. And the main thing what's happening, it helps to reduce the production cost. Now you will ask me, how is actually reducing the production cost? They are reducing the production cost by how? When you don't have a person who needs to recommend the product for your customer, there is a machine by itself, it can actually recommend the product to your customer and it makes your customers happy, right? So there you don't need to spend something to make your customers happy. In this case, it's reducing the production cost, it's reducing the human cost as well, so by building a model, right? So these are the reason why do we need machine learning, why machine learning becoming most popular these days, why every company wants to hire a machine learning engineer or a data scientist, right? So this machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence are nothing but the umbrella under which we have lots of techniques to make our business a proper a proper way it can actually success, right? So this is something about why do we need machine learning. Now I will answer your question, whatever doubt you have, then we will have a look at what is machine learning basically. Okay. Please give us a reference. Okay. Then Om Paran is asking COVID-19 detector. Yes, not a detector. Yeah, it can be using as for a detector as well. That time you only not need to make a machine learning, you need to use deep learning and some other stuffs as well. But yeah, machine learning will be used for that. It's a good example, Om. That's really nice. Where is machine? Yeah, I will show you where is machine, why it's calling as machine learning as well. Google Drive and photo. I don't understand, Krithi, if you can explain it more in a better way, how you actually relate this Google Drive and photos. Recommendation system, right, Sumit? Okay, heard about machine learning but advise how to start. Okay, Priya, so I just started with how to start with machine learning. I hope this particular tutorial, not the tutorial, particular session is gonna help you on that. But we do have lots of tutorial and do have lots of courses from where you can see how can you start your machine learning without any cost, right? So I will always refer you to go for Great Learning Academy and just do the courses. It will give you the basics idea that how can you start your journey with machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? They collect our data, according to that they will give offer. Yes, Sumit, it's right. They used to collect your data and they also give offer based on that. Where does machine learning is used? I just gave the answer, Nabil. Collecting and analyzing the information of particular data is called machine learning. Not really, Karthik. Okay, I think you guys don't have any question as such for why do we need machine learning. So now let's jump into, we will look into what is machine learning. So what is machine learning? What do you think? So machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence that allows the system to automatically learn, improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. Now you will say, you are giving me lots of terms, but I don't want these terms. Trust me, I will explain you what actually I want to mean by that. Machine learning is basically nothing but part of artificial intelligence. As we all know, this is known as AI, right? What is does? So let's have a look into this particular image. Now you have a machine, and what you need to do? You need to make a model, right? From using this machine. How this machine comes into the picture, right? Now what you have? You have data, right? So when you have data, you have to train your model using that data, right? So this data have two parts. You have training data, you have testing data. Now you can see what you have model, you have training data. Now okay, now as you have training data and you have model building, this model building are nothing but your algorithm. So you have algorithm, you have data, so you can train your model. When you train your model is ready to work with. Now what we need to do, we need to go for using testing data. You can see there is again data we have. Now with the new type of data set, what you need to do, we need to understand how our machine is going to work with, right? If you see with the new data set also, your machine or your algorithm is working perfectly fine, you can say, hey, my model is ready to give you recommendation, or my model is ready to forecast your business as well. So this is what machine learning stands for. Any doubt till so far for machine learning? How to convert JPG images to Python as input? So for that you have to use OpenCV, Pradeep, and using OpenCV is just a one-liner I'm gonna say, but we do have video on how to we have video on real-time implementation image recognition, real-time image recognition using Python. You can look into that. I think you will get your answer over there. So for a quick heads up, it's basically we use OpenCV, which can actually change your JPG image into an array, right? And from that it makes an input for using the JPG image, right? Vijay Kumar is asking, machine learning is a degree or course? Again Vijay, machine learning is a concept. By using that concepts, we try to make our business more successful. It's not any degree, it's not any course, it's a concept. Okay. ML is a field. Yeah, obviously ML is a field. Syed, without data, machine learning can work. No, without data, a machine learning, artificial intelligence itself cannot work. It's all about data. Okay, we will need data, but not what data itself means. I don't understand your question, Ahmed. Okay. Which programming language is used in machine learning? Can we use Java? So Shashwata, so basically for machine learning we use Python and R, right? So so I think these two are the best language still so far for going forward for artificial intelligence, right? Again guys, if you like the video, don't forget to put the like button and also subscribe. Great Learning, it's always motivates us to make a new content, and you will get also a good notification for that. Now we will have a look at the life cycles to build a model with machine learning. How to do that? First, what we need to do, we need to understand the business problem. Now, I will not give you any theoretical portion to understand. I will give you a proper example that how this machine learning starts. So, how many of you are interested to learn about how you can relate machine learning with the real life example? Give me a quick confirmation on that. Okay. Pro SMS. Okay, how a non-IT profession can get into data science? I will give the answer. What about TensorFlow? We use TensorFlow for machine learning and deep learning both. So in this case, TensorFlow is not a language. Again, Ahmed. Guys, don't spam in the live chat. It's my request to you. No, TensorFlow isn't a language. Okay, got it. Okay, right. So now let's have a look at how can we start with machine learning, right? For starting with machine learning, what we need to do, we need to understand a business problem. How we actually understand the business problem. Now, suppose if you can imagine yourself as a data scientist or a machine learning engineer. You have joined a Swiggy, right? So, okay. So you have joined Swiggy or Zomato or any startup company who is now struggling and try to understand their business in a more better way, right? So in this case, what they have asked you, they will say, hey, we are going to give you the data, right? Now, please give me insights for my business. I just want to understand my customers in a more better way. Some of you said, according to your choice, they used to give offer. right? This is true. So they said, I just want to give cool offer to my customers, and I just want to make my customers happy by giving some good offer. But how should I understand my customers? So in this case, being a data scientist, you have to understand their customer base. You have to say, okay, so you have 3 types of cluster. So now when the clusters comes, so basically the same type of customer, you have maybe 3-4 types of customers. You can give this offer for this particular cluster, and you can give this offer for this particular offer. So you have to understand, as a data scientist, if you give the offer, this offer is not going to hamper your business as well. So yes, there are lots of responsibility comes into the picture when you actually work as a data scientist. So this is the basic thing. You have to understand what your company wants. They want to focus their business, or they want to make their customers happy. So for both the cases, what will happen? You have to use different technique. So the main reason, the main objective, if it's not clear to you that what your client wants, there is no point of making a using of machine learning. Right? Now what we need to do? It's the first step. Now you know what your clients want. Now you have to go for data acquisition. What is data acquisition? Data acquisition is nothing but data collection. So if you don't collect your data, how can you start your analysis? So in this case, you have to go for data acquisition. Right? So in this case, already company has given you enough data, but trust me, the more data you have, the more you can actually analyze your business. Right? So in this case, data acquisition is going to help you and to give you a good data to understand your clients as well, to make the solve, there is a solve or there is a problem solution you will make for your clients. Right? So the next step will be data collection. Now, when we talk about data collection, do you really think this data, using this data will be that easy? No. Now, there are lots of things comes into the picture. Data cleaning. Now, you will ask me, why do I need to clean my data? But what you have right now, you have to understand. You have your data. But this data are not in the position to use. But why? Because their data will be very noisy. Because when we actually store this data in a massive way, do you really think this data are in a proper way to use? No. Your data will have lots of noise. Your data will have lots of, misbalance, misspelled attributes. It's lots of things you will have. For that, you cannot use that data. Now you will ask me, when I have data but I cannot use them, what will be my solution? Your solution will be start with data cleaning. It takes the most time out of it. You have to go for clean the data one by one. You have to understand what are the things you don't need for your data. What are the things is a wastage for your data. When you actually do the data cleaning process, you are making a wastage of data, converting them to a gold. Yes, so as we all say, data is the new oil. Did you ever think why we say data is the new oil? And what type of data is saying the new oil? So if you have random data, we cannot say those data are the oil. But trust me, if you have a clean data, if you have clean data, you can use data right away. Your data is the oil. So do you know there are lots of people are today are trying to fetch and trying to take the data from the companies. Why? This data they can actually sold, right? So they can actually sell those data and make a profit out of it, right? So this is why we need data cleaning. Now comes exploratory data analysis. As we know that our data is ready and our data is the oil. Now we need to go for EDA which is known as exploratory data analysis. Now you will ask me, why do we need to do that? You have data, you have cleaned your data. Don't you want to understand your data in a more better way? Yes, for that we go for using exploratory data analysis, which is known as EDA. In the EDA, what we have done, we try to understand our spread of the data. We try to understand what is the range of our data. There are lots of things we do using statistical methods. After we do the EDA, what we need to do, we need to go for machine learning. Now we will say, what we have in EDA, for that we can jump into ML algorithm. So basically EDA is understanding your data in a more concise way. When you understand your data in a concise way, you know what type of algorithm you need to use for your data. So you can understand the machine learning. We have different types of machine learning. We have supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. We will talk about that, right? So from those algorithms, you can understand what type of algorithm can be used for your data. Now, as we have already choose our data, we can do one thing. We can actually start building our model. So building our model is nothing but using the particular algorithm with the data you are training your model. Right? When you have done your model training, you just need to understand how your data is performing with the new data. So predicting your model accuracy. If you can see your model is working really fine and with the new data as well, you can say, hey, I have made a really good job and my model is working with the new data, and hey, you can also use my model. But how can you, other person is gonna use your model? That time this particular deploying models comes into the picture. So for as of now, you can understand deploying model is nothing but, if you know your model is working perfectly, if someone else wants to use your model, you can go for deploying part, right? So this is the whole life cycle to build a machine learning. Any doubt till so far? I will answer your question now. Okay. Amit is saying, can you give a detailed analysis of data analysis before applying an ML algorithm? Yes, we can do that. Okay, Srinidhi is saying, please make a video on end-to-end implementation of machine learning till deployment of ML model to be... okay, got it. So you want a video on machine learning, end-to-end machine learning till the deployment part. Yes, we do have our video on machine learning, but deployment part, yes, we should come up with a tutorial for that. Okay, how do you create an algorithm? We are not going to create any algorithm for machine learning. It's already implemented. We just need to use them. I don't know programming knowledge, Nantha is saying, and how machine learning useful. Okay, so if you don't know machine learning and if you don't know programming language, then I should suggest you start from Python and then you can keep on moving towards machine learning. That will always help you. Raman is saying, could you please provide technology or tools used in every step? We are going to use Python itself, but for data visualization and data cleaning, there are lots of free tools and there are lots of tools basically available. Like for data visualization, we have Tableau, Power BI, you can use them. But for this case, we are going to use Python only. Okay, I don't have much idea about TypeScript and JavaScript, Shashwato. I'm really sorry for that, but we do have lots of video on JavaScript. You can check them out. How to machine learning business start? I don't understand your question, Miki Yadav. Okay. By machine learning, can we create applications? Yes, obviously we can create lots of applications using machine learning, Karthik. Can a person without any programming background still learn machine learning? I hope when we start our journey as a human, we know nothing. So that cannot be an obstacle if you don't know anything. You can start from scratch any day. It's my way of thought. Do we have standard algorithm or vary depends on outputs? We will talk about that. Freshers having any scope in machine learning? Yes, obviously there are lots of scope for freshers as well. But yeah, the main thing is you have to know the basics of machine learning. You have to have a good understanding of how to handle data. Okay guys, I will answer your questions later. Let me jump into the next part. And again, if you really like the video, why don't you please just like the hit button, and that will always motivate us to make content like this, right? Okay, now we will have a look at introduction to Python. Some of you said you don't have any idea about Python. For that, I am going to give you a quick heads up on Python. What is Python? Python is a popular high-level object-oriented and interpreted language. So when we talk about high level, so if we talk about any language which is very you have to interact with, we need to go for low level language. But trust me, for the case of Python, if you know English, you can start working with Python. Now comes its high level, as we have talked about. It's object oriented. When we talk about object oriented, there are lots of features comes into the picture. For now being, you don't need to know all this, but yeah, you can understand Python is a language which is very easy to implement and very beginner friendly. Now it is interpreted as well, right? Now we will have a quick look at why do we need to learn Python and why should I suggest you to do that. The main reason is web development using Python is really easy. Now comes length of the program. So when we talk about any developer, the first things comes into our mind that that they have to go through and they have to handle thousands of codes, thousands of lines of codes, right? But in the case of Python, yes, this is very easy to start with and the length of the Python is very less, right? Now if we talk about Python is simple and beginner friendly, the main catch for Python, for that Python is getting the popularity. Then the mathematical computation can be easily done using Python, because if we go for data science, there are lots of things, there are lots of mathematical computations you have to work with, right? And lastly, if you want to go for graphical user interface, that's really pretty cool with Python, right? So this is pretty much about Python, you can say, guys. Now if you want to install Python, you can directly go to their website and you can install Python. And there are a few integrated development environment we have for Python, like PyCharm, we have Anaconda, we have Google Colab. So for my case, I'm going to start with Google Colab. If you want to start with Anaconda, Google Colab, PyCharm, any one of them, we have tutorial for each of them. So any one of them you can choose and you can start your journey with Python, right? Okay, guys, don't spam in the live chat. This is really irritating. Don't do that. Okay, so now if we talk about data manipulation using Python, how to do that. So doing data manipulation is basically a technique which allows to transform, extract and filter your data efficiently with time. Now, as we were talking about, the data science is all about data. We need to go for few data manipulation part. So before doing the EDA, we actually do data manipulation for data cleaning, to understanding our data and also give a good idea about your data as well. So these things can be done from two libraries in Python, that is, one is Numpy and second one is pandas. These two libraries are used for data manipulation, right? Any doubt till so far, guys? Whoever are asking to how to enter a data science job as a fresher, I will give your answer in the last in the session, right? So I don't want to talk about in between. So give me some time. By 12:50 to 12:55, I will start talking about that. If I am not, please ping me over the chat. Any doubt till so far, guys? About what we have talked about, machine learning, what are the things you need to know? Any doubt? Right, so I cannot see any doubt you guys have. Can we able to develop and deploy a machine learning model for creating video captioning as the video streams automatically? Yes, why not? But in this case, you have to use deep learning. So for image auto captioning, we use deep learning techniques. So the machine learning will not be that effectively work for that. Why Python has so many libraries? Because Python, who made Python, they have given lots of libraries. Okay, right. So now if we talk about pandas, what is pandas? So pandas is a popular data manipulation library which is based on Numpy, right? So if we talk about that, Python is a library built on Numpy, and if you want to install pandas, you just need to write pip install pandas, right? And how can you import library? Import pandas as PD. I will show you in the demo as well, right? If I now talk about Numpy, so Numpy stands for numerical Python, right? and it is used to perform mathematical and logical operation on arrays. If you really need to do some of the really cool and not cool, some complicated stuffs on mathematics, I should say you have to go for Numpy. Right, so this is pretty much about the library we have. Now I will talk about one thing. Before that, I will ask you, what do you think about traditional programming versus machine learning? What do you think? What's the difference? It's all about programming, right? If you need to write a code to make your work done, this is also programming. If you actually do code for machine learning to make your work done again, so you have to write a code. But what is the difference between them? What do you think about it? Nikita, as you asked that what is the timeline for learning data science, it's up to you. How much you can understand, how quickly you can grab the concepts. But it's not that tough to start with. Any idea, guys? What's the difference between traditional programming versus machine learning? Any idea about that? What's the basic difference? I will show you the programming. I will show you the images. Can you see for traditional programming what we have? We have data, program and output, right? This is the whole scenario for a traditional programming. Now, if we go for machine learning, and if I just look into the picture, you can say here again, you have data, output, data, model and output, right? But here there is a catch. So for traditional programming, what we do, we give the data, we write our program and we get the output. But in the case of machine learning, you give data, you write your code, you make a model out of it and you get an output. For the second time, when you give the data, you don't need to write a code, your model will work for you and you will get the output. So this is the basic difference between traditional programming versus machine learning. Yes, machine learning is more advanced. Traditional is explicit programming, pattern recognition. Okay, guys, you are right, no doubt. Yes, machine learning continues to learn with inputs. Alright. For Atal Upadhyay. So if you are a mechanical engineer, then also you can learn machine learning. That's not a problem. Yes, machine learning is something for there you have to give instructions, but not for every step. Okay, now if we talk about the types of machine learning, what are the types of machine learning we have? We have supervised learning, unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning, right? So what is supervised learning? I will talk about types of machine learning, guys, but before that I will hope we should have likes, 100 likes at least. As we have 109 people watching right now, we can expect 100 likes, and also please do subscribe Great Learning, right? Okay, so now we will talk about supervised learning. But when we talk about supervised learning, we need to talk about few other things as well. It will take a few time to understanding about that, right? So in this case, what is supervised learning? Supervised learning work as a supervisor. Now you will say from where the supervisor is coming and from where this teacher is coming, right? So let me show you a data set. For that you can understand how this supervisor is going to teach your model, right? Let me show you that. Okay, some of you are asking, are you going for code? Yes, but before that I just want to show you the data set. That will always give you a good understanding about the types of machine learning you are going to use. When to use what type of machine learning. Now if you look into this particular case, let me make it little big. I cannot make it, yeah. Alright, so if you look into this particular case, right, we have the diabetes data set. This is taken from Kaggle, it is a CC0 data set. Now you can see what we have. We have pregnancy, we have glucose, blood pressure, skin thickness, we have insulin, BMI, diabetes predictive function, age and outcome. So why we are going to use this particular data set? We are going to use this particular data set to have an understanding about, okay, so this person has diabetic or not, or this person is going to be diabetic at what age, right? So this particular data set is used for that. So now you can see there are lots of parameters as given, like pregnancy, glucose, BMI and all, right? Lastly, we have outcome. But why do we have outcome? This outcome is basically dependent on all the other attributes you have, like age, diabetes and BMI. But how it's actually dependent on the other attributes? Suppose this is outcome is going to say this particular person is diabetic, this particular person is not diabetic. If the particular person is diabetic, then the outcome will be 1. If the person is not diabetic, then the outcome will be 0, right? So we have two classes, one is diabetic patient, one is non-diabetic patient, right? So this, what we have as an outcome, this is our teacher. Why? Based on all the information we have, we can say, okay, this person is diabetic, this person is not diabetic, right? So this is how this particular column outcome is going to help you on that. And your model will have a supervisor when it's going to get trained, right? So you have to understand these basic parts of supervised learning. So by looking at the data set, you have to understand what type of machine learning you are going to use. If you don't have a column, this column like this is known as label column. If you don't have a label column, then you have to go for unsupervised learning, right? So this is pretty much about supervised learning. If we go back to the presentation, what we have talked about. So we said supervised learning work as a supervisor or teacher. You can understand how it's going to work as a supervisor or teacher. Basically, in supervised learning, we teach or train the machine with label data. That means data is already tagged with some predicted class. So you can see in my case, it was data was tagged with the person is diabetic or not. Then we test our model with some unknown set of data to predict the level for them. So when we have the data, so what we try to understand, I try to understand that particular person is diabetic or not using supervised learning. So what we try to find it out? We try to find it out the level for each and every patient we have, right? So now if we talked about the types of supervised learning, so basically we have two types of supervised learning. We have regression and classification. Under regression, we have lots of algorithm. So when we talk about algorithm like linear regression, logistic regression, decision tree, we use them to make a model out of it, right? So this is pretty much about the algorithm we have in machine learning. Any doubt till so far, guys? What is supervised learning? Then we will have a look at what is unsupervised learning, and we will little bit talk about this reinforcement learning, and then we will do a talk about one particular algorithm what we are going to use for today's project. Any doubt till so far, guys? Yes, I mean the first thing you have to do that to understand your data, clean your data, and to analyze what type of machine learning you are going to use. Then when you actually find it out what type of machine learning you are going to use, what you need to do, you actually need to go and find it out what algorithm will work for your particular project, right? So this is how we actually do the machine learning. It's all about your data. Santosh is saying no doubt. Okay, no doubt, clear. Okay, so I can assume, guys, you have no doubt till so far what we have taught. Now we will talk about unsupervised learning. Suppose when to use unsupervised learning. So if you don't have a label in your data set, that time you don't know what category, like your data comes under which category. That time your supervised learning comes into the picture. As we were talking about, your machine learning try to make a cluster of your customers. So your machine doesn't have idea what type of data you have. So your machine try to cluster same type of data and make a label out of it. This is nothing but unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning has no supervisor to train their model. They try to learn it by themselves itself, right? So this is how this unsupervised learning works, and this is basic difference between supervised and unsupervised learning, right? And when it comes under reinforcement learning, what is reinforcement learning? Reinforcement learning is basically, if you know about Tesla self-driving car. So Tesla self-driving car use sorry guys, Tesla self-driving car use reinforcement learning. So when your model is going to work pretty fine, you are going to give the reward to them. And when your model is going to make a mistake out of it, you will give some penalty. So this is how our reinforcement learning works. And this is pretty much about supervised learning, unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning. I hope this particular difference will give you a good heads up to start your journey with machine learning, right? Any other doubt, guys, for till whatever we have talked about? And lastly, we will see a algorithm which is comes under supervised learning, and we will quickly do a project on that, right? I know we don't have a lot time to work on a project in a detailed way, but yeah, we will do that. Okay, I cannot see any doubt, guys. And guys, if you really like the video, then please do hit like the video. For that, it's always give us a motivation to work on. And don't forget to subscribe Great Learning. It's always a great pleasure to us if you subscribe to us. We will always love to give you new content and help you to upskill yourself, right? And if we talked about, now we will talk about logistic regression. What is logistic regression? So logistic regression is also a part of supervised learning. So guys, there is a question for you. What is supervised learning? And does supervised learning has any supervisor in the algorithm itself? This question is for you. I want the answer from you guys, as I have explained everything to you using the dataset, right? So please give me an answer for that. In the meantime, let me explain what is logistic regression. So logistic regression comes under supervised learning, right? It used to predict the probability of the target variable, and the nature of target or dependent variable is discrete. Now, if we talk about what is discrete value, let's get back to that particular data set. Now, if you can say you have a level of outcome. This outcome level has two classes, right? So, this class is the person will be diabetic, the person will not be diabetic. This is two class you have. Now, when you have particularly two class in your data set, this is nothing but your discrete data set. But if you have suppose a label for height, weight, right, which is a continuous value, this will be your what? That will be your not discrete data set. That will be a continuous data set. When you have a continuous data set, we need to use regression. When you have a data set like this, when you have a discrete data set, we have to go for classification technique. And logistic regression comes under classification technique, right? If we go back to the presentation, you can see the dependent variable is binary. Obviously, in nature, you can see if the person is diabetic or the person is not diabetic, right? That can be either 1 or 0, yes or no, right? Failure or successful, like this. So logistic regression is also known as sigmoid function. Why it's known as sigmoid function? So there is a direct edge graph is there which we use for logistic regression. If you want to learn about logistic regression more in a way, why don't you go and check out our video on logistic regression? It will give you a good heads up on logistic regression as well, right? So if we talk about this particular function which is known as sigmoid function, that is basically equals to 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus value, right? So this is pretty much about logistic regression. And now we will do our project, that is diabetic prediction using Python, right? So how many of you are actually interested to do that? Give me a quick confirmation on the live chat. Okay, let me just answer your question, guys. Okay. Okay, Garvit is asking how much knowledge is required for pandas and Numpy. right? So for pandas and numpy, the basic thing you need to know, how can you start using them to understand your data. Okay, no Garvit, I am not the supervisor for supervised learning. Okay. Okay, data feed to algorithm has a desired label. I don't understand, Srinidhi, what you want to actually say it. After I learn Python, what's next? Next is, why don't you go for learning machine learning? Yeah. So in this case, what we are going to do? We are going to use particularly, okay, I got an error. Is it something? Okay. So basically what we need to do, I am going to use a IDE. What is IDE? This integrated development environment. Again guys, if you want to go for using PyCharm, we are going to release a video on PyCharm. How can you install PyCharm? And in this case, I am going to use Google Colab. So how many of you have idea about Google Colab? If you are going to give me a quick heads up on that, how many of you have idea about Google Colab? Again, if you don't have idea about Google Colab, then please do check out our video on Google Colab. That will always give you a good heads up. How can you start with Google Colab? So this Google Colab is basically for Google. Google gave this for AI researcher. If you are an AI researcher, you need to have good configuration in your system. But if you don't have, that's why Google provide these features to you for free of cost. So if you just write Google Colab, right, just write Google Colab, I'm sorry guys, just write Google Colab and click on this link, right? Then if you just click on new notebook, you can start with your journey with Google Colab, right? So this is how you can start your Google Colab journey. And in this case, so in this case, what you need to do, you can see this is how we can actually do the Google Colab started. So you don't need to install anything. The basic, you know, the most useful part and most favorite part for me. So in this case, you don't need to write and you don't need to basically install lots of things, right? You can directly start with Google Colab from Google. Now you can say I have my diabetes dataset I have uploaded to my Dropbox. You can use them. Otherwise, you can do one more thing. If you just click on this box, right, you will get an option to upload your dataset. So here, if you have the dataset with you, you can directly upload them from your local system. Right? Yes, it's like a Jupyter Armani. Right? So this is how you can actually upload your dataset. Right? So now what we are going to do? We are going to import pandas, right? Some of you are asking how to install panda, right? So for your for your question, I can write, and this is already pre-installed, right? You just need to write pip install pandas. So if you do pip install pandas in Google Colab, it will show you requirement already satisfied. If it's already not installed, then it's going to install again. So this is how you can install pandas, same as Numpy, right? So now we are going to use few library. We are going to use pandas, Numpy. This is for data manipulation, as we have talked about. We are going to use Seaborn as well. If you can look into my code, right? We are going to use Seaborn for data visualization, and we are going to use sci-kit-learn for what? For machine learning. Garvit, if we need to do without sci-kit-learn, then the problem will be you need to write a code and you need to write a proper algorithm from scratch, and that will take a long time, and already we are running out of time. But yeah, it's a good suggestion from you. Basically, maybe if we can do, we can make a tutorial out of it. How can you start write your machine learning by you itself? You don't need to use any library for that, right? Okay, so now we are going to use one particular function from pandas. What function we are going to use? We are going to use .readCSV. What is .readCSV? ReadCSV is basically comma separated value, right? And in this case, you can see we have diabetes dataset. Okay, as we have diabetes dataset, what we are going to do, you can see we have this particular diabetes.csv. right? So we have given the path for your data set, and we have written this variable called data have this particular data. Right? And when you can see this data dot head, it's going to return you the first 5 rows of your data, right? So when you have data that with first 5 rows, you can see this is the data you get. So for that, to get a first 5 rows of your data set, you have to use dot head function. And to get the last 5 rows of your data set, what you need to use? You have to use data dot tail. Let me just show you that as well. It's very interesting, guys. I mean, working with Python and with their library, it's very interesting. And again, guys, if you really like the video, don't forget to like it and also subscribe Great Learning for new such content like this. I hope that will always help you to make or upskill yourself. Alright, so you can see the last 5 rows we have. So basically we have 767 data total rows and the last 5 rows here. So now if you want to check the total column you have in your data set, how to do that? You have to go for data dot columns. If you just write data dot columns, you can see total columns you have. You have pregnancy, glucose, blood pressure, skin thickness, insulin, BMI. Can you see outcome, everything here? You will get all the columns. Now if you want to check the shape of your data, how to do that? If you just write data dot shape, right? So in this case, what you will get, how many rows of data you have, how many columns of data you have. So basically it's gonna give you yes, Akash, for how to treat the outlier. In this case you have to use some clip technique. For that you can clip your data set from a range. This is how you can handle the outlier, and IQ or interquartile range is also used to handle the outlier. I don't think in this particular session we can cover it, but yes, we do come up with the session where we can actually talk about this missing value and how can you treat them, right? Yeah. So you can see data dot shape is going to give you the information about data, how many rows you have, how many columns you have. Now if we're going to use data dot info, it's going to give you, do you have any null value? So if you have any null value, that time it's going to give a bad prediction for your model. So we try to work without any null value data set. That's not always possible, but we try to do that, right? So in this case, you can see for all the cases we don't have any null value, right? So this is pretty much about it. Now if we just jump into directly to the machine learning part, so what we can do, right? So here, as we have said, we are going to take the data, and in this data we are going to make our data in 2 parts. One part will have only the outcome, the level of your data. One part will have all the information about your data, right? So what we need to do in this case, one part Y will have all the label, X will have all the details about your data. Now you will break your data into 4 different parts. One is X train, X test, Y train and Y test, using train test split from scikit-learn. Right? After you do that, you just need to call logistic regression. It is that easy to work with scikit-learn. If you call logistic regression and if you want to train your model, you just need to call a function called l.fit. Right? So l.fit function is again going to use to train your model. So after you train your model, if you just want to take the prediction how your model is working with the new data, you just need to call .predict function, and .predict you have to give the test data. Now if you try to understand the accuracy score for your data set, what it will get, can you see? You get the data set and you have logistic regression you have used and you get the accuracy of 74%, right? Yes, so this is how you can start making your model using machine learning. So basically we have covered so many things in span of 1 hour. I hope it's not too hectic for you to understand. I hope you also like this particular session. So don't forget to subscribe Great Learning, and also don't forget to like this video. And please do let us know in the comment section what else you want to learn from us. And please do hit and check up Great Learning Academy. I hope it will always help you to skill up yourself. Thank you so much guys. Thank you, and thanks for being with us. And please don't forget to attend our new session on these particular topics. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next session.